Good morning, Robert Luna, the Sheriff of Los Angeles County. Currently, we have well over 400 sheriff's personnel that are still actively deployed to the fires, in addition to our normal staffing for patrol-related functions throughout the County of Los Angeles. Deputies continue to assist our residents with evacuations. They are performing a lot of humanitarian missions. So many stories to share, don't have time right now. Providing food and blankets to people, rescuing people who unfortunately did not evacuate when they were asked to. So you've heard it over and over up here. A lot of the stories of heroic actions by our deputy sheriffs, police officers, or firefighters, a lot of them are taking place from people who did not choose to evacuate, putting their own lives at risk. So please, if you're asked to evacuate, because it's not only your life you're putting in danger. We continue to conduct roving patrols, manning hard road closures, providing security in evacuation areas to prevent anyone who may be tempted to engage in criminal behavior like looting. It was mentioned earlier before by the supervisor, and I'm going to make this crystal clear to everybody out there. Over last night and this morning, we are up to 20 individuals who chose to go into our areas and deprive these poor people who have been through so much of their property. Absolutely unacceptable. And I'm going to give direction to our department members. As you know, when we have an evacuation order by law, if you remain in that area, you are guilty of a misdemeanor. If you commit certain crimes, it could jump up to a felony. I'm going to be asking our employees to start enforcing that. That is very different than a curfew. Why? Because it's 24/7. I don't have to wait for the sun to go down or the sun to come up. If you are in one of these areas and you do not belong there, you are going to be subject to arrest. I hope that is as clear as I can make it, because our first choice isn't to do enforcement. It's not to make arrests. It's to help people. But if people choose to commit crimes, they're going to be held accountable. And the DA, who is standing next to me, will clarify even that a little bit further. This continues to be a fluid and evolving crisis, and the numbers that we release throughout this incident are going to fluctuate. So anything we say is subject to change. We're getting information from our boots on the ground. It's very chaotic out there because it's still so fluid. So forgive us if we give a number and then we have to modify those numbers. I talked about the 20 arrests that have been made so far. Unfortunately, I do expect that to go up. We're not going to tolerate that kind of activity. We have substantially increased our deployment of deputies at the fixed traffic post and are trying to limit and clear out any unauthorized vehicles or people in these areas. I do want to talk as we are summoning more resources. I have been in contact with the chief of the Office of Emergency Services for the state of California. Obviously, that's done at the direction of Governor Newsom. From the get-go of this, he has offered any and all resources to us in law enforcement, and they're doing the same for fire, but I'll specifically talk about policing. The California National Guard is on standby at our direction, specifically my direction, and we, along with my partner Jim McDonald at the LAPD, are currently in discussions if we are going to need them or how we would deploy them as the hours go on. So stand by for that information as the hours tick on. Chief Maroney mentioned this regarding any death toll information. Yes, we had preliminary numbers yesterday. I got to be honest with you, as I reviewed some of those last night and this morning, I was not satisfied with some of the information that we're getting. And it's not the fault of our people. The people that are working under very difficult conditions are doing their best to do what they need to do. At one point, we'll be able to do a more thorough search of these impacted areas. Some of them look like a bomb was dropped in them, where we will be able to bring in canines and other things to help us hopefully not discover too many fatalities. That's our prayer. but this is a crisis, and we don't know what to expect, but we're ready for everything. So all information, at least on the county side of this equation, we're working with our coroner's office. We'll figure out those numbers. So be patient with us when you ask us about death toll numbers. Right now, frankly, we don't know yet. We eventually will. Evacuations overall for Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, and Lydia fires, the number in both county and city areas, evacuation orders are impacting 179,783 residents. That's nearly 180,000 people in Los Angeles County that are currently under evacuation orders, with another close to 200,000 residents that are under evacuation warnings. I cannot emphasize enough that I urge residents that are asked to evacuate to follow our warnings. I gave some examples earlier. I'm going out through my staff, hey, give me some stories where our deputies are just constantly putting their life on the line, and in every example I'm given is as a result of somebody who chose not to evacuate. I don't want to tell those stories anymore. I don't want to give stories of our first responders being injured, specifically our communities being injured. Please, if you're told to evacuate, evacuate. Two of our sheriff's substations are out of power, running on generators. That's both our Altadena and Crescentia Valley stations. They're right in the thick of things. They're engaged in all of the work that I've described. The issues of mutual aid. Will consistently evaluate and reevaluate the needs for more law enforcement personnel. But I can tell you, I'm getting calls from all over this region, from other sheriffs and police chiefs. Everybody wants to help, and that's awesome. That's part of our profession. Very proud to be part of it. The last thing I'll say is, for any specific information regarding evacuation orders or warnings or any road closures, and there's a lot of them, please go to lacounty.gov/emergency. Thank you very much. And with that, I am going to introduce the Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, Jim McDonough.